How you doing? All right. I like that. You guys are awake, or at least you sound like it. Last week we were in Daniel chapter. Anybody remember? 3, right? And basically, what's a big event in Daniel 3? Was that? All I hear is fiery furnace, right, fiery furnace. You can't forget that. Yeah, so last week was Daniel chapter 3. What do you think today is? Daniel 4. Yeah, it's Daniel 4. Isn't that amazing? How do you guys know? It's 4, and here it's been 1 week since we were in Daniel 3. But do you want to know how much time elapsed, or at least they think how much time elapsed between actually the end of 3 and chapter 4? Yeah, they figure about 30 years. So you can't see that. It didn't say, well, 30 years later. So a long time has elapsed. Now, if you're like me, I can remember 30 years ago, kind of, yeah? It was like a different world. Why? Because it was. You know, my life was so different here, and if you're somewhere past 30, you go, yeah, that's right. It was nothing like today, whether personally or overall. Oh, I better get these out of there. Very, very different. But anyway, we're going to be dealing this morning, I call it a most humbling dream in the book of Daniel chapter 4, where I'm told that we dream a lot every night. Now, if you're like me, I can hardly remember. Maybe every 6 months or something, I can remember, oh yeah, I had one of those goofy dreams that you can't make any sense of. And I'm a guy like, I don't know. I mean, sometimes it's really goofy, like I'm back playing high school football and I'm on the defensive line, except I never played on the defensive line. And next to me is my dad, who played, because he played high school football, and then my dad's playing, so we're like teenagers together. And then on my other side is my son, who also played high school football. And so we're all like teenagers together playing on the defensive line, which I think would be really, really neat. Then I look up, and the guy facing me on the other team is Pastor Stephen. But he's different. He only has half his mustache. And it's pencil thin, and it's blue. And I'm going, I don't get it. Well, the center hikes the ball, and I come in, and I knock him over. In your dreams. Well, you know what would be fun? Come on up here. Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, I knock him over, he falls down, he starts crying. Referee calls an injury timeout. The next thing I know, his wife Katie comes out of the stands, chasing me. I'm running all around the football field for my dear life, and I wake up. But you think about it, really that dream kind of makes sense. You can do the math. Don't mess with him, okay? Don't mess with him, or you will pay a dear price. So be kind, smile, compliment, give him money. I mean, whatever it takes to make his day. But most of them, I can't remember. They're not worth remembering, and it's just bizarro. So here, Nebuchadnezzar has this dream, but Here we're starting in verses 4 and 5, and it reads like this. He says, "Hi, Nebuchadnezzar, I was at ease in my house, and I was happy in my palace." Life was really good. He was living like a king. Why? Because he was. Happy in my palace, I saw a dream, it startled me, and these appearances, as I lay on my bed and the visions in my mind, kept alarming me. So life is really, really good. It's so good it couldn't be better. He didn't want anything to change. It was smooth. A problem-free, happy existence, peaceful, plentiful. It's what we all want. But here's a thought, and it's this. God has a way of disrupting our lives. And you know that. It didn't take long for you to figure that out. Probably even as a kid. Something happened somewhere, and your life is thrown upside down. It's not that every disruption is directly from God. That's not that. But He ultimately allows for it. And since He allows for it, I go pay attention because He's up to something. You know that God's always up to something. He's always up to something good, although it doesn't always feel good. Get that? God is always up to something good, but it doesn't always feel good. Sometimes I think, God, why can't you just leave me alone? Just for a little while. Just leave me alone. Because He has a way of doing this. So Nebuchadnezzar, he calls out all the professionals to help him try to understand what his dream means, but no one can. So he calls in Daniel. I love the title he gives him in verse 9. It says, Chief of the Soothsayer Priests. How'd you like that? Chief of the Soothsayer Priests. That's what Nebuchadnezzar calls Daniel. So hang in there. We're going to take a look at this dream. And it starts, behold, here in Daniel, last half of verse 10 through 12. It says, Behold, there was a tree in the middle of the earth, and its height was great. The tree grew large and became strong, and its height reached to the sky, and it was visible to the end of the whole earth. Now, that's a big tree. Its foliage was beautiful, and its fruit abundant, and it was food for all. The animals of the sky lives in its branches, and all living creatures fed from it. What a beautiful dream. Wonderfully healthy, abundant tree. It provided shade, gorgeous to look at. It provided food. It says all living creatures fed from it. Even animals benefited from it. A place of peace and plenty, no problems. Where happiness and contentment reigned, but what? God has a way of disrupting things. So hang in there. We're going to see the rest of the dream, verses last half of 13 through 17. An angelic watcher, a holy one, descended from heaven. He shouted out and spoke as follows, Chop down the tree and cut off its branches. Shake off its foliage, scatter its fruit. Let the animals flee from under it and the birds from its branches, yet leave the stump with its roots in the ground, but with a band of iron and bronze around it. in the new grass of the field, and let him be drenched with the dew of heaven, and let him share with the animals and the grass of the earth. Let his mind change from that of a human, and let an animal's mind be given to him. This sentence is by decree of the angelic watchers, and the decision is a command of the holy ones. Why? In order that the living may know that the Most High is ruler over the realm of mankind, and he grants it to whomever he wishes and sets over it the lowliest of people. Here again, in order that we may know that God is the ruler over us, and he does to whomever and whatever he wishes. Get that. I go back to New Testament. He is the potter, I am the clay, and basically he can do whatever he wants to me and you whenever he decides to do it. And if you haven't figured it out by now, my life, your life, it's not about me and you. We keep fighting, at least I do. I keep thinking it's about me, but I know better. It has basically nothing to do with me. And God can do whatever he wants to do with me and to me whenever he decides to do it. And I try to tell myself, Rick, life can't get hard enough for you to complain. But sometimes I do. Thought I would have learned it by now, but life can't get hard enough for me to complain. And here's why. All complaints are ultimately aimed at God. So careful with complaining. Well, even Nebuchadnezzar knew this was a dream. It speaks of radical change. There's this great change from harmony and prosperity, of unity, beauty, to people and animals scattering. They had abundant food to eat, and now they have to search elsewhere. They were living large. But those days are gone. Was there ever a time in your life when things were really going good, and all of a sudden, you didn't see it coming, the wheels fell off, and your world was turned upside down, just like that? You get that phone call, the knock on the door in the middle of the night to inform you of a tragedy. And sometimes it had nothing to do with you, right? And you drop to your knees. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but if that hasn't happened to you yet, let's live a little longer. And it will. You get a medical report that changes everything. Or a sacred trust has been broken, and you don't know if you can survive this one. Well, Nebuchadnezzar knew that this dream was of that nature, and he needed to know what it was about. So next is what I call the dream interpreted. Daniel comes in and says, well, the tree that you saw, which became large and grew strong, whose height reached to the sky and was visible to all the earth, it's you. That tree is you, O king. For you have become great and grown strong, and your majesty has become great and reached to the sky, and your dominion to the end of the earth. Here, where you believe yourself to be a tree that is strong, let me just say, God will disrupt. We all want to be strong because we don't like being weak. I just want to say, where you are strong or where you believe to be strong, just be careful with that because God will disrupt. Your greatest strength is also your what? Greatest weakness. If you can't see it, try to begin to be aware of it because it's true. So how can it be? Because your greatest weakness is what you will depend on to get you through life. Your greatest weakness will let you cut corners in other areas of your world. Your greatest weakness, you'll depend on it way too far too much. And you let other things sort of slip by. Or others may do the same. If you're really good at something, and people recognize that, and you recognize that, and you get the applause, you get the promotion. Here, I say, don't believe your own press clippings. So here, you're the tree, and Nebuchadnezzar, here is your future. Verses 25 through 27. You will be driven away from mankind in your dwelling place, be with the animals of the field. Basically, you're going to be homeless. You live in a palace, but you're going to be homeless. You'll be given grass to eat. Grass. That's rather humbling. If you didn't know, my mother was Japanese. So, I mean, oh, that's what was. People thought I'd been French. They thought I'd been Hawaiian. One person at Disneyland came up speaking Spanish. I said, no Espanol. They didn't believe me. But my mom grew up, and she grew up 12 to 16 during the war years, 41 through 45. She was 12, 16 years old. And in June of 45, she lived in this city called Sendai, and U.S. forces firebombed her city, which is just horrific. That changes your life for the rest of your life. And there's all the. She said the next day they got out and the ground was so hot they dropped what's called incendiary bombs. The ground was so hot you couldn't walk on the ground. And she says that children are looking for their parents, and parents are looking for their children. And bodies are floating down the river. And then she had people living in their house they didn't even know because their homes no longer existed. And she said, we had to go out and pick grass to throw in with our rice so we'd have enough food to eat. And I can't even imagine. And everyone else is doing the same thing. Everyone else picking grass to throw in the rice so you have enough food to eat. And so that's humbling. I've learned, don't you ever complain about food. If you have anything to eat, you just be thankful you have something. That stuff changes generations. Anyway, that's what's happening. He's going to be given grass to eat like cattle and be drenched with the dew of heaven. And in 7 periods of time, ends up being 7 years, will pass over you until you recognize that the Most High is ruler over the realm of mankind and bestows it on whomever he wishes. You're going to live like that until you recognize that God is the ruler over everything, over all humanity, and he'll do whatever he wants to whomever he wishes until they get it. So Daniel says that, therefore, O king, may my advice be pleasing to you. Wipe away your sin by doing righteousness and your wrongdoing by showing mercy to the poor. So, not all our hardships are sin-related on us. Please don't think so, that just because something's happening to me, it must have been something bad, sinful that I did. Not necessarily. God must be punishing me. That may not be true at all. But sometimes it is. In Nebuchadnezzar's case, it was. Wipe away, do righteousness. Show mercy to the poor. That's what you're messing up. Well, next is the dream fulfilled. This is what happens 12 months later. Whole year go by. And maybe he's thinking, that was just some Daniel, I don't know. He's got used to none of that bad stuff happened. A whole year has gone by. So he's walking on the roof of the royal palace of Babylon. He began speaking with saying, is this not Babylon the Great, which I myself has built? You see the problem? As a royal residence, by the might of what? My power, with the honor of my majesty. I myself have built it. My power, my majesty, oh, look at me. Uh-oh. Here's a couple thoughts. Do not be impressed with your performance. Today, I'm going to watch some NFL. I'm just going to. I record it and I watch it so I can delete commercials and replays. But I'm going to watch it. The athletic ability is unbelievable. If I walked out there on the field, on any playing field today, any of the guys on the field could do this to me, just flick their finger and I would go roll. I mean, that's how big and powerful they all are. They're incredible. But don't be impressed with your performance. I'm impressed with theirs. I could never do any of that. They shouldn't be impressed with theirs, and you shouldn't be impressed with yours. Your achievements, your trophies, your promotions, whatever it is, don't be impressed with yourself. No matter how good you are, there are always many who are better and can do it better. Smart people, can I say this? Smart people never think they're smart. Because what knowledge is supposed to do is reveal the knowledge you don't have yet. You should never graduate, get a degree, and say, boy, I've kind of arrived now. No. Good education teaches you don't know much. If you come out graduating from getting a degree and now you think you know a lot about something, it wasn't a good education. Here again, whole year's gone by. He didn't take it serious. And now, here again, he's like that for seven years. Immediately the word concerning Nebuchadnezzar was fulfilled, and he was driven away from mankind. Again, eating grass like cattle, his body was drenched with the dew of heaven until his hair had grown like eagle's feathers. That's weird to me. Eagle's feathers. And his nails like bird's claws. He was grotesque and he was insane. And it lasted for 7 whole years because he had a whole lot of pride to work through. But here's the thing, here's the result. The dream's result, verses 34 through 37. But at the end of that period, 7 years, I, Nebuchadnezzar, raised my eyes toward heaven, and my reason returned. When you look up, God shows up. So look up. Don't look around, you look up. Raised my eyes toward heaven, my reason returned to me, and I blessed the Most High and praised and honored him who lives forever. For his dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom endures from generation to generation. He does what he wants. Now, I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise, exalt, and honor the King of heaven, for all his works are true. All his works are true, and all his ways are just. They just don't seem like it. All of them. He is able to humble those who walk in pride. Yep. He is able to do just that. So the goal of this whole dream was what was called humility. That's what he's after. It took 7 years of living like a crazy animal, but he finally got it. Here's this, it shouldn't come as a surprise. All of us have pride. Hopefully you're going, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. None of it is good. All of us. No exceptions. I'm included. Of course. It's not good. So the dream's application. It says, here's the first thought. How does pride show up in your life? I think that's a good question. You should have an awareness of when and where and how. Because if you're not aware of it, you can't do anything about it. If you don't know where and how pride shows up in your life, ask someone who knows you well. Because they do know. They just may not have told you. Why? Because it'll show up when they do. And they want to have a nice night or a good weekend. But if you really want to know, and you say, and I'm not going to get mad about this, so you can tell me. Ask someone to speak into your life. Here again, maybe it's a spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend. Maybe it's your mom and dad. Maybe it's your kids. Maybe it's just a good friend. But I think we need to hear it from others because we don't clearly see it ourselves. Sometimes we may, but oftentimes we don't, and that's why you ask people to speak into you. we all need people to speak into us because they have something to say and we have something to hear. Then I'm going to go here next. How does anger, or how is your anger connected to your pride? Because it is. One day, hopefully we'll address the whole anger thing. I think there's a lot of misconceptions in the church about it. That's for another day or series or something. But how is anger connected to your pride? If you get angry every now and then, okay, maybe. But it should be every now and then. It should last about this long. If you get angry a couple times a week even, how do I say it? The clue phone's ringing. Pick up. There's a lot of pride. Because pride is often revealed by way of anger. It shows up in relationships. It shows up in church. It shows up in the workplace. It shows up when you're driving. It shows up a lot of different places. And we need to get a handle on it. Here, James 4:6, it says, God opposes the proud but gives grace to the humble. And you don't want God opposing you, do you? He's working against. It's like you're on the defensive line, he's on the offensive line, and he's going to win. He opposes. He wants to take you from being a prideful person to being one of humility. How may the disruptions in my life actually be God working against me? These are a lot of questions, I know. And maybe you only pick one to really do some work on. Here's the other one. What is the number one thing God is trying to teach me right now? What do you think? I heard someone say patience. Yeah, it could be. What's the number one? And patience is oftentimes related to pride. How dare you not cooperate with my time schedule? That's what it is. Yeah, how dare you? The world should cooperate with my agenda and my time schedule. Really? That's what we think. How dare you get in front of me at the line, checking out, and you're not ready to pay right away? Ever been there? The person in front of you, let's say it's a female, going through a purse. Oh, I knew it was here somewhere. And while we're waiting, hey, here's the pictures of my grandkids. And you're like, God help me. I'm having homicidal thoughts right now, right? It starts bumbling up, it starts going. Anyway, I think it's a great, humble people cannot be offended. How about that? Yeah? Yeah, can't be offended. So how often are you offended? Oh, I know you think it's righteous. Oh, I know. It shows something about a pride issue going on. And so move toward becoming unoffendable. Paul says that he became content with all insults. Bible says if you get slapped on the right cheek with someone's right hand, which basically is the ultimate inside, or somebody spits in your face, guess what you do? You know, it's weird. It says, turn the other cheek, let them do it again. I'm going, really? No one's ever slapped me in my face. No one's ever spit in my face. Don't test me after church, okay? Don't do that. You may see the ninja come out. And then what is your personal plan for the defeat of your pride? And what will be the evidence of success? And with that, I ask you to pray with me. Lord, we confess right now that we have pride. It's not good. Maybe you won't go to the measures that you went to with Nebuchadnezzar, or maybe you will. We just know that we don't want to live in any area of our lives with you opposing us. We want to live in harmony. We want to receive all the grace you have available. We recognize you of being Almighty, Sovereign God. You can do whatever you want to me or with me without complaint. We'll be your student. We'll be your disciple. We'll be a lifelong learner of the things of God. We pray that together now in Christ's name. Amen.
And with that, church, let's read our Great Commission together. Matthew 28, 19 through 20. Go therefore. All right, church, let's love God, love people, and make disciples. Have an amazing Sunday.